You must have seen a dog that breathes 27 to 28 times in a minute, lives for 10 to 12 years, while a human who breathes 16 to 18 times in a minute can live up to 80 to 100 years. On the other hand, a tortoise that breathes 5 to 6 times in a minute can live for 500 to 600 years. It is clear from this that the fewer breaths a creature takes, the longer it can live. By understanding this, yogis started working on the science of reducing the length of breath and increasing its depth. They understood that a human being gets a fixed number of breath to live, not years or months. And by reducing the speed of this breath, life can be prolonged. But the length of the breath and its slow pace should be natural. When we breathe, we directly feel air at only a few places, such as in the nostrils, throat, chest, or stomach. And we are not aware of the air that has entered our brain. We are much less aware of the air that has entered our ears and eyes. The air that goes inside through the respiratory system gets divided in many ways, which goes to different areas and after doing its work comes out again in different form. This very air has different names like prana, apana, samana, udana and vyana. And this process happens so quickly that we are not even aware of it. If we breathe vigorously, the bacteria inside the body start getting destroyed with the strong flow, and the ability of the cell to fight disease also increases. New blood also begin to form in the bone marrow. The toxins accumulated in the body start getting removed. Awareness of the brain returns and memory power also improves. With the activation of neurons, the ability to think and understand gets activated again. With the air filled in the lungs, self-confidence returns. Nowadays, most of the people's breathing has become weaker, which they themselves are not even aware of. People do not even realize how their breathing is going on. When the feeling of anger arises, the breathing changes. If the feeling of lust arises, the breathing also changes. Our breathing also changes with our every emotion and thoughts. Along with this, it also changes due to our eating habits and lifestyle. In fact, our breathing has a direct relation with our mental state and our physical condition. And the science of yoga itself is based on proper breathing and is working constantly. So if we learn to breathe properly, our life will definitely change like magic. Today, through an ancient story, I will try to explain to you about this science of breathing, correct way, and its importance. Now, let's listen careful. A long time ago, a sage used to teach yoga, pranayama and meditation to his students in his ashram. He had spent many years living in a cave in the Himalayas and doing deep meditation. Hence, he was also experienced in this science, and he wanted to give this experience and knowledge to the world through his students. Once after dinner, one of his disciples came to him. Seeing the expression of the student face, the sage understood that some questions were arising in the student's mind. Reaching near the Guru, the student saluted the Guru and said, "Guru, I want to ask you a question." The Guru said, "Without any doubt, please go ahead and ask whatever you want to ask." The disciple started asking question and said, "Guru, you often say that the basis of yoga, meditation and pranayama is our breathing. And once we get control over our breathing, we also get control over our mind and thoughts. That's why I have come today to learn this science. from you in detail about the mystery of breathing. I want to take this knowledge that how breath affects our mind and body. Hearing this, the Guru smiled and opened up. He said, as our mind is, the speed of our breathing also becomes the same. Or as our breath is, our mind becomes same. That means everything is connected to our breath. Whatever happens inside us and also whatever happens outside us, every event that happens in life is directly related to our breath. This means that by controlling our breathing, we can control our thoughts and mind. If you look at the face of a true yogi or a seeker or a practitioner, you will see an amazing pause, a silence on their face. A true yogi can keep himself calm and composed even in the worst situation. A yogi does not suppress his emotion but increases his spirituality by gaining control over his breathing. And by controlling the breath, he also gets control over his mind. The person whose mind is under his control has the solution to all his problems. The Guru said to the student, you must have heard about such yogis who lived for 100, 200, and even 1,000 years. So how were they able to keep themselves alive for so long? Actually, they had control over their breathing, which we also call prana energy. Energy is present all around us. A yogi knows very well in what quantity it has to be taken and released. And he achieves mastery at this task to a great extent. Therefore, he can use this life energy as per his need and can make himself live longer. If you want to keep your body healthy, have more capacity than normal, want sharp intelligence, then you have to understand your breath. You have to control it, and once you control it, everything will be arranged in your life. Actually, there is no such thing as fear, worry, and trouble. It is just a product of our mind and our emotions. And only one thing can control the emotions in our mind, and that is our breath. Anger, anxiety, jealousy, ego, the feeling of revenge within us, all these works accordingly to our breath. And if we have control our breaths, then all these disorders are under our control. Breathe works as a bridge between our body and our mind. If we have to reach our mind and remove all its disorders, then we have to walk on the bridge of our breath. We have to access our mind through our breath, because this is the only way to understand our mind. If you have seen a child sleeping, you must have experienced that when the child inhales, his stomach expands, and when he exhales, the stomach goes down. That is the child breath from the navel, which is the most natural and correct way to breathe. Because of his deep and long breathing, the child's mind remains excited and light, and his body functions in a more natural way. You must have noticed that the child does not keep anything in his mind for long, nor does he remain angry with anyone for long. And even if he is scolded, for sometimes he forgets it after some times and gets engrossed in his game. The child is able to do so easily because his breathing is going on naturally from the navel. The child's body needs growth. Growth requires more energy, and more energy requires longer breathing. That's why nature has given him longer breath, breathing through the navel. Although these long breaths have been provided to every human being, but man has shortened this breathing by making some unnatural changes in his life. He breathes from his chest instead of his stomach. The shorter the breath we take, the more we will be filled with worries and troubles. The longer and deeper our breath will be, the more happy and peaceful we will be. A person breathes 14 to 15 times in a minute. Breathing is directly related to our state of mind and our physical vibrations. And if the number of breath taken in a minute comes below 10, then we become aware of many vibrations happening around us. We will start understanding them. The sound of animals, the vibration of animals, and their behavior, their energy will become clear to us. You must have heard that many vigorous animals like lion become calm as soon as they come near yogis, and their violent behavior changes. This is possible because yogis have stabilized a direct connection with the energy and behavior of animals by reducing the number of their breath. And if the number of breath taken in a minute is reduced to less than 8, then it will become easier for us to understand the energy and behavior of trees, the plants. And if these breaths are reduced to less than 6 in a minute, men can easily understand the existing behavior of inanimate things present in the world. The vibration of inanimate things and interconnected world will become clear to us. In other words, the nature of the universe and its behavior can be understood. And only after reaching such a stage, many yogis and sages could understood the secret of the universe, origin of the universe, and the things happening in it. They can even predict the events. The more unstable our body is, the less we will breathe. If we take our body to a certain state where there is no movement in the body, and if we slow down our breathing, our awareness will increase. According to yoga science, by controlling the breathing, a devotee can do many things which are beyond the life of an ordinary human being. It is also said in the yoga tradition that a practitioner can experience new human dimensions by holding his breath for hours. Many serious diseases which cannot be cured can also be cured by controlling our mind and breath. By controlling the breathing, a person can reach such a mental state where the ups and downs in life will not bother him. To some people, all this may seem like a story, because generally people do not do this, and anything in which they do not believe as superstition. But people who follow old yogic traditions claims all these things, and one of them is Swami Rama. Swami Rama used to live in the Himalayas. He started practicing yoga since childhood. In 1970, Swami Rama went to an American research center. There he controlled his breath and stopped his brain waves, blood circulation in the body, and his heartbeat for a certain time. Then the doctors doing research were declared him dead. After doing research on his body, but even in this state, Swami Rama could feel everything. Seeing all this, all the people present there were stunned. Along with this, Swami Rama could increase or decrease the growth of tumor in his body as per his wish. The team of researchers who used to consider such claim as superstition suddenly started considering them as an internal science, the inner science which is beyond the imagination of ordinary humans. Breathing carefully is an ancient method. Breathing deeply is an ancient practice of yoga. When a yogi controls his breathing, he can hold his breath for a long time whenever he wants. By controlling breathing, disease occurring in the body for which even medical science has no cure today can be cured. The Guru further said to his disciple that when the breath is unstable, the mind also gets disturbed. And when the breath is calm, the mind also becomes stable. And yogi lives long. That is why we should learn to control our breath. The Guru then looked into his disciple's eyes and said, "Do you think that you exhale the same amount of breath as you inhale?" No. Normally, when we inhale, its length is 10 fingers, and when we exhale, its length becomes 12 fingers. Here, one finger means the thickness of one finger, the distance. The length of our breath keeps changing during the physical activities performed throughout the day. For example, when we eat food, the exhaled breath is 16 to 17 fingers. While walking, the length of the breath is 22 to 24 fingers long. The length of exhalation breath while running reaches 40 to 45 fingers long. During sexual intercourse, it reaches to 50 to 60 fingers long, and 60 to 70 fingers it reaches while sleeping. That is why our scriptures talk about controlling lust and anger, because it weakens our life force. For this, yogis give more importance to only two types of exercise. First, lengthening your breaths till they reach the navel, and the second is always keep your spine straight. These things which seem simple are very important from the point of view of yoga and pranayama. More you keep your spine straight, the deeper breath will reach. More spine will take a curve, more harder you will feel to inhale. In reality, the length of inhalation breath is less, and the length of exhaling breath is longer. And if the length of the exhaled breath is reduced, then a long life can be achieved. If the length of the exhaled breath is reduced by 12 fingers, yogi gets the boon of euthanasia. Whenever he wants, he can keep himself alive till he wants. This type of power will be awakened only when there is a determination in the mind to awaken it. The physical form of the mind is breath. Hence, it is necessary to control the breath first. Only then man gets all the powers. At the end, Guru said to disciple, "You must learn to control the breath if you want to control the mind and want to feel the energy around you. If you want to control the energy around you, if you want to manifest, you must learn first to manipulate your breath. Get this power first. You will get all the universal power, its own, automatically." So I hope you understood today's story and the power of prana. I will see you again next video. Namaste.